what's been the catalyst for me just to feel like I can be myself is having a song I'm really proud of, and a song I think really is me and represents the sound I want to make. Because now I've got that, I'm not afraid of what other people think because I really believe in the song.
We're here to talk about your single, C'est la vie, which is massively catchy. I have it in my head all the time, a proper like pop banger. So can you tell me a little bit about like the writing process of it?
The pre-chorus I'd written a long time ago, and it was just the bit where it's like, I don't really fuck with you, do the little things that you want me to. And that was, at that point, that was about feeling like annoyed at someone and just being like, look, like I can do my own thing, let me be. And then this writing session came about with Artery Music, and so it was us in a studio in Peckham, and we just wanted to write about, we wanted to include the fact that I have French heritage and that I speak French, and the phrase "c'est la vie" came to mind, so that's life. And then the idea of a relationship that ends, but neither of you kind of want it to end, and so there's this lingering feeling of, well, what do we do? And sometimes things aren't meant to be, so you say "c'est la vie" and it helps you advance. Because my mum used to say that to me when I was little. She used to say, oh, c'est la vie, Lili, c'est la vie. And it's something that stuck with me to sort of get through stuff that you can't put closure to. Sometimes you can't. You don't understand why someone doesn't want to be with you. You don't understand why something's not working. That's life, like Frank said.
Yeah. So you say about, co-writing and stuff like that. Do you find that process easy? Do you work well with kind of other songwriters?
I was very used to writing alone, like in my yellow room, which is where I've written all my songs. And that was just like a safe space that I sit with my headphones, put on an instrumental or chords that I've been sent and write, or I write on my piano. But actually, when you go to a studio and you write with someone else, you learn a lot. And it was really actually important for my development as an artist to understand that I need to be challenged and I need someone to listen and be like, that can be better. Like, why don't you make that more catchy? Why don't you do X, Y, Z? Because you're not always like that with yourself.
Yeah.
And you don't even see it. You don't even hear what they can hear with their own experience and their own creativity. So I really enjoy it, and I'd love to write with more people because it brings out loads of different sides to you and it pushes you and you get better.
I definitely agree. So you mentioned about your French heritage, and I think you've got Portuguese heritage as well. Is that right?
Right. Yeah.
What influences you in your music? Do you like, as well as French and Portuguese heritage? What are your influences?
Well, yeah, I always grew up kind of going to Portugal and France and then back to England. So there was always those three cultures I was exposed to. Like my grandma at Christmas always, still now, gets up and puts on like a black shawl and sings fado music for everyone, and we all have to like listen. And or then like my uncle will sing a song in French, or like my other cousin will will rap in French. So there's always been this exposure to creativity on that side, and I think that's always influenced me. And this sort of like joy for life and joy for music just for the sake of it, because they're not all professional musicians, they do it for the love. So that's always influenced me. So the sadness of fado music, the beautiful lyrics, there's a lot of importance placed on that. So yeah, that. And then my dad was always a fan of like Queen, the Rolling Stones, like AC/DC, all that rock and roll. So I always had that as well in my ear. Yeah, a lot of different influences I think that have impacted me. And I won't always be able to pinpoint why, but I often get told I have like an old sort of sounding voice.
Okay.
I think. Rather than like a new one, it sounds like even the vibrato is a little bit old, and I don't know where that comes from, but I wonder if it might be to do with the fado I've listened to since really little.
Yeah.
So, oh! So yeah, lots of influences.
I'm kind of jealous of that, I think, a little bit. British identity and stuff, it's such a strange time personally that I feel like I'm going through at the moment, because I've always felt European first and then British second. And all this weird kind of what's going on at the moment, but that's amazing that you have that, and you have that connection with your family.
Yes, it's been good. It's opened sort of doors, I guess, to new stuff. But of course, you can do, even if you're not from other countries, you can travel. You can open those doors for yourself. Like you can meet people. Obviously, it's lucky that my mum spoke French to me and my sister since we were little.
Yeah.
So that was like a blessing. That's something that I would have probably had to work quite hard for, to be bilingual in another language.
Yeah.
Because obviously your brain's like a sponge when you're little, like
Yeah,
everything's just a lot easier. I was in a jazz band at school, like I learned how to scat. I did loads of musical theatre. I was like Sandy in Grease, like Maria and The Sound of Music. So I was in a gospel choir. Whenever there was access to music at school, even if I was confident, I would go towards it. And then I joined a hip hop group. We went to China, like loads of random stuff that have now merged into me.
That's amazing. Before the world went mad, you filmed the music video in Paris. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Sure. So the idea, Frank, the video director, his idea was, obviously there's French in the song, so where else to do it? Better place than Paris, city of love, city of magic and romance. So yeah, we went there. There was like no budget. We went there, stayed at my mate's house, her flat, and we just did like AM to evening 2 days shoots. I really wanted to get my personality across and to be like natural and just have fun. I'd never done that before. I'd always like thought of a concept or something, and this time I just thought, fuck it, I want people to just see me and be like, okay, cool, this is her. I can connect with her. So it was quite simple, but because Frank has such an amazing eye, we found lots of gorgeous backdrops, like trees, and he was good at directing me. And as the days went, I got more confident performing in front of people in the street, even though that's always intense because everyone stopped there, like they stop and they stand. I get so embarrassed. But yeah, it was really fun. I had a great time. We were tired by the end of it, 100%, but it was good. And I met a producer who I'd made a song with and who I'd never met, who lives in Paris. We met for the first time. Yeah, he's in the video, he's in the studio. And so that was amazing to meet him. And he was like, come to the studio, and we filmed. And yeah, it was wicked. I've got good memories of it. But that was just before lockdown. So there was a strange atmosphere.
Yeah.
It was already starting to feel a bit iffy, like people looking at each other, you know. Eurostar was like everyone, you know, cleaning their hands and stuff.
I think it's good that you mentioned about getting your personality across, because I noticed that too. Like knowing you as I do, and seeing that music video, I love that because I kind of feel like so many artists kind of hold back. They kind of act like they feel like they're supposed to act rather than just sort of being themselves. And I feel like both in the music video and on your socials, you're very authentic how you come across and everything. Do you find it easy putting yourself across like that?
I didn't before, and what you've said actually resonates completely when you said like just how you're supposed to be rather than being. And I think that's exactly what I was doing before. And actually what's been the catalyst for me just to feel like I can be myself is having a song I'm really proud of, and a song I think really is me and represents the sound I want to make. Because now I've got that, I'm not afraid of what other people think because I really believe in the song. And I think maybe before I wasn't always 100% about the music or what I was putting out, and I'm confident with the song. I love the video, and I don't mind if people don't. I'm not as, I think before I was really looking for people to say, hey, this is so cool, like that approval. And it's human nature. Like I think most people seek a bit of approval from others. Like it's natural. I'm insecure 100%. But with this song, I don't mind. I know I love the song, and that's enabled me to just be myself alongside that.
Yeah. No, I love it. I think the video, it's a great mix of, this is sort of what you'd expect from like this kind of music video, and then like just the playful kind of attitude and stuff like proper comes across. In terms of like the single itself, have you had good feedback?
Yeah, it's been good so far. It's picked up quite quickly. I've been added to some the biggest playlists I've ever been added to, so that's been really good. A lot of like organic sharing. I think the idea with Ian was Ian, my manager, was to let things happen naturally and see what the response is. And it has, people were sharing it, they're playing it to their friends, stuff like that. Like the fact Louis LaRoche wanted to remix it, you know, he doesn't have to say yes, and he wanted to. For me, that's a good sign. I think people enjoy it. Obviously, to reach a big audience, you need, I think, big backing, unless your thing goes viral. So I'm hoping that there will be bigger backing and that song can reach many more people. But organically, it's felt good so far, yeah.
And you mentioned the Louis LaRoche remix.
Good pronunciation?
Yeah, I'm glad we mentioned that before this interview. I know you've been doing some video stuff, as you mentioned earlier. You've been doing some video stuff for the remixes. Can you talk a little bit about what you're doing with that?
So again, this is Frank's creation. He thought of, because it's the same song but with a slightly 80s more electronic feel, we're going to have like Paris backdrop on a green screen, and they've made me a robot head. So I've got a robot head and I basically transformed from me into a robot girl. And actually the cat, we got a cat involved as well.
No,
The cat, yeah, we just did it. It was so funny. I had to get like little treats for the cat and put it on the chair. And we're like, come on. And then the cat was like, and then it loved it. And then it was sat on the chair and it was like,
natural.
yeah, it was like loving the spotlight. It was so funny. And so the idea is like the cat transforms me into a, and it's all a bit like fantasy, but it's quite fun. Like, why not have fun? And because Louis LaRoche did an amazing Daft Punk remix before, I think that's where the robot head idea came from. Like, obviously Daft Punk wear masks, and there is a sort of robotic sounding voice at the end of the song, so it ties in. And like I was saying to you before, because it's on a green screen, I think what we'll do with social media is send out me on the green screen, and then people can take that and put me wherever they want in the world. Yeah. Hopefully nothing too embarrassing, but yeah.
Hey, content is content, you know?
No publicity is bad publicity, as they say.
I must admit, I think you are like such a good example when it comes to kind of content and coming up with, like I say, getting yourself, your authentic self across on socials, and just coming up with ideas, because it's so hard for like artists to be like, oh, I've got this single out, do you want to listen to it? Like, you know, coming up with that, it must be so hard. But I think you've done well to engage like the audience and stuff like that, which is great. I know you're going to be releasing music in China soon. Can you tell me a little bit about how that came about?
So to be fair, most people can release in China globally with your distributor. And the difference with what I'm doing is that I have a friend called Warren, contact also, from when I was in a hip hop group, Grand Wazoo, and we went and performed at a festival just outside of Beijing. Example played, Alan Walker played, so it was a big festival. And I kept in contact with Warren because he's lovely. His surname is Money, Warren Money. He's a pretty cool dude. He's lovely. And because of everything going on with Corona, they did this virtual festival online called Elect Girl. So he asked me to be a part of that, and I obviously said yes. And I did really well on that on there. So it's kind of like it's called Quay app, and it's like the TikTok in China, because the internet, as you probably know, is completely different.
Yeah.
But anyway, I got 1 million views on that, and I was like #1 on trending on that festival thing. Yeah, which is amazing. Like I'm now trying to think of a way to translate that over here.
Yeah.
And so from that, they are now launching a Let Girl record label, and they've asked me to sign to them. So it will be like basically signing to them in China.
Yeah.
And yeah, so we'll start with releasing music there. And I think because I had a good response on that virtual festival, it's like, let's try and work on that now whilst the iron's hot, like whilst we can see there's a good response for the music. So yeah, that's it really. And that's about to start soon. So that'll be fun. Hopefully it'll be good.
Proper exciting. That sounds great. You don't even need to be like massive all over the place. If you find those kind of markets that you can dip into, like that'll sort you out. That'll be really exciting to see what comes from that. That'd be good.
Yeah, I'll be posting about it and stuff. And I think there'll be another virtual festival they're doing in June. So yeah, it should be fun. And you know, that's one of why I think I want to be international. Like I want to travel, and you know, I've got the French Portuguese thing. Like I want to go around. Like I don't. Yeah, so for me that feels really like an accomplishment because it's like closer to that goal.
I really feel for artists and a lot of people in the music industry because of coronavirus and, you know, affecting events, affecting projects and releases and stuff. Because you've released, you know, C'est la vie in coronavirus, basically, how have you found the promotion side of releasing, maybe on a part of what you've done in the past? Have you seen like a difference? Has it been harder
the big changes was that I had lots of live shows planned for like the next few months. There were dates. I was going to do Latitude Festival, I was going to do Wild Past Festival, I was going to do the single launcher Egg with Austereo as the publishing night. So there were lots of dates I was like excited for, and the live side is one of my favorite parts. I really, really enjoy that. And so we've been practicing with the band, all of that, and of course everything's been cancelled now. And you know, I'm at the start, so doesn't have a huge impact on me. Like, I'm not going to lose loads of money from that. I know like Live Nation lost $1 billion in stocks or something. So, you know, I'm like at the lower end of being affected by that. But in my universe, yeah, it did affect me in terms of the planning. However, what's been really interesting is learning how much I need to market myself online and how important that actually is. And maybe I've been giving a lot of attention to the live and less to online. So I've learned a lot, especially now that all these virtual things are popping up. You've probably seen, like, I'm doing one for Lyle and Scott on my birthday in a few weeks. I've done one for Jägermeister. I'm doing one today, like I told you, for Nordhoff Robbins and Bose and Right Chord Music. I'm doing one for a massive Canadian festival. Like, these are things I wouldn't have had before.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously the songs come out, so I think that has had an impact as well in me reaching people. But yeah, it's just new opportunities. So yeah, I'm just taking it on the chin. And like I said, I'm not one of the worst affected, so I don't have much to complain about.
It'll be really interesting once the world goes back to normal, if the world goes back to normal, how many of these kind of virtual festivals and stuff will stay, how many, you know, live streams and performances and stuff like that. I think it's been really exciting actually to see what artists, how they can reinterpret their music, I guess, in like a new way. It's hard obviously because we don't know what's going to happen this year, the rest of the year, or when things are going to go back to normal. But whilst, you know, you are doing things digitally, what do you have coming up for 2020 and sort of, you know, maybe the next single and stuff like that as well?
The next single is going to be Badum, which is a slower sort of song, but weirdly it's the one I think people actually like the most.
Okay.
So we're going to release Badum with a new team, and people who really they really believe in the song, which is exciting. And hopefully it will get a bit further. And also, if the second song has more backing, then people can come back to C'est la vie and see the other body of work. So yeah, planning that now, the release, because obviously you want to keep momentum. I would just want to release more music and build a team, build a following.
I used to hate being by myself. Now I'm finding that I kinda like it. I know that you've put me on the shelf, but I don't mind the view from here.
Thanks to Lili for a great chat and to you for watching. Make sure you follow Lili on her socials listed in the description below. She's got great potential and that single is huge. Next week, my guest is Connor Willis. We had a really candid conversation about mental health and sobriety. Connor has some really important advice to share from his own experiences, so please subscribe so you don't miss it. Please show your support for this series by clicking like and subscribe. Stay safe and stay connected.
It's like my mama used to say.